What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave Mo. You already know what it is. Dave Mo Flips. Hey, great news coming at you right now. The dealership is open. Finally. Holy. It's ridiculous. Took us long enough to get it going. Between just waiting on the state to get their stuff together. Got denied twice at the location. No, got denied once at the location. There's just a lot going on, and I'm going to get into a different video about what to and not to do. There's certain things that I could have done to save more money. But whatever. It's done. It's in the past. All business expenses, right? Let's make money now. But, you know, I've been laying back in the cut a little bit, watching other YouTubers, of course, right? That's what I do. I watch YouTube and sell cars. With that and work my off. With that being said, I want to say something to you guys. You know, everyone keeps talking about this bubble, at least for a year now. This car bubble. When are the cars going to come down? This, that, the third. So I want to put it in a little bit of perspective for you, okay? You're asking, let's just not even think about cars, okay? Let's just think of a business, because everyone and their mother hates car dealers, okay? So when you add the car dealer aspect to it, right away, people want to hate. And, you know, I don't know why that is. Every other industry that buys and sells makes money buying and selling. For some reason, people think that car dealers should be capped at what they could buy or sell. You know, there's another YouTube channel, huge YouTube channel called Car Edge. They sell car warranties, which in my opinion is probably one of the biggest scams going, unless you're getting it from a franchise dealership or a place like CarMax. Everyone knows I love the CarMax warranties. But they had the CarMax name behind it, so I could take my vehicle to CarMax and have it warrantied out. Not a big deal. So they sell these warranties, and they make $600 on every single warranty that they sell. So that's like me coming up to them and saying, hey, you know what? You can't make that. Now, I want to let you also understand something. They make $600 on a warranty, and they sell the warranty for $2,100. Okay, guys? Which means that the warranty actually costs them $1,500. So they're almost charging a 40% markup. And I think it's such hypocrite bullshit that they're saying, oh, well, I could charge a 40% markup on this, but if you charge a 20% markup on this, that's wrong. Yo, D, I don't want to interrupt, but I want to bring up a point to what you're talking about over here, all right? A couple things I want to say here about the current conversation. Number one, car dealers, they have to lay out money in order to buy cars. These guys you're talking about, they don't even lay out money. They're simply saying to you, hey, you could buy this warranty, and then upcharging you $600. So they're making $600 with no investment. Guys, do not be confused. This is not an affiliate link. An affiliate link is a link that goes back to, let's just say, Amazon. Amazon is going to charge the same amount of money regardless to if you use that link or not, and then take a piece out of their end to give the YouTuber a little taste, all right? In this other situation that these guys are doing is they're providing you this warranty, laying out no money whatsoever, and when you pay the $2,100, it's actually 21 and change. So when you pay the $2,200, they're using your money, purchasing that warranty at $1,500 and pocketing the rest. And then want to talk crap about car dealers. At least for car dealers, we actually have some risk in the game when we're trying to make ours. All you naysayers out there, oh, well, what about floor plans? Yeah, if we floor plan it, it's still on our credit. If we mess up, that ruins our credit. Most floor plans are PGs, personally guaranteed. That means they're running our credit. So don't get it twisted out here, guys. What my man over here, Dave, is saying is true, but what he's leaving out is the fact that it's not an affiliate link. They're not investing any money into the product itself. They have overhead, they have a website, they have content, etc., etc. Same as any other business. But what they are doing is charging you an absorbent amount of money, you're their loyal fans, right? Because you're a part of their website, you pay for this, that, the next thing. Instead of being on the real, you don't worry, we're going to give this to you because this is how we're getting it. They're not. They're making money off you and acting like they're your friend. Friends like that, my man, you don't need enemies. Yo, back to what my man is talking about. Even though the percentage is less in what we're doing, because they're doing it at a lower price, it's okay. That's that bullshit, guys. That is exactly what I'm talking about. It's people like this on YouTube that have these big channels, and they're great for people that aren't good at math. Oh, well, look, we make $600. It's $2,100 for it. That means that the cost was $15. A $600 profit on top of 15 comes out to, well, $1,200 would be 50%, right? So I think we're okay saying 40. We could run the numbers. You know, someone run the numbers and put it in the comments. What is their percentage markup? Now, take that percentage markup and put it on any car that's out there. If you were to mark up a car that's $50,000, okay, and you marked it up 40%, hypothetically speaking, you'd be marking that car up to about $70,000. Did this happen? I think it did happen when the pandemic was around. A lot of parts and stuff like that were hard to get, so supply versus demand, everything went up. Everyone knows that. Right now, people are saying, oh, you shouldn't be able to make that much money per car. You shouldn't be able to do this, that, and the third. How come dealers are willing to take cars to the auction and sell them for a certain price, which is lower than retail, but they won't sell that car for the same wholesale price to the general public, or maybe a little bit more and make money? Here's one of the reasons why I myself choose to not sell vehicles below a certain profit margin. I'm going to be honest with you. This is real talk coming from a bona fide dealer in the streets, okay? I'm a bona fide car dealer, used car dealer in the streets. I am not a franchise dealer. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a regular person making regular amounts of money. So, when I have my Lexus and it rolls through, okay, and I spent, $8,000 on it. You guys know, for me, I try not to get less than 20% ROI. Now, let me tell you something. The way I buy cars, I'm never overpriced, okay? So, I don't look at Kelley Blue Book. I don't look at NADA unless I'm going to finance. I don't look at any of those numbers, okay? What I look at is Facebook Marketplace. I look at the comps in the area. And I look at them and say, okay, well, this Lexus is going for $12,000. I'm going to pay $8,000. Now, private sellers, here's another thing too. I only use private sellers. So I'm a car dealer competing with private sellers, okay? So I look at them and they're like, all right, they're selling this vehicle right here for $12,000. I paid $8,000 for it. I'm going to mark it up to $12,000 or $11,500. I don't want to be too low. I don't want to be over. I want to be competitive, okay? So then I'm like, all right, I'm there. I made $3,000. Also probably 40%, right? But I'm not 40% above what everyone else is charging. I just happen to buy my car so low that I'm able to offer it at a number that isn't highway robbery for anybody. So with that being said, I can't sell that car now. Okay, let's just say I can't sell that car. Well, why don't I drop the price to $9,000? Let's drop the price to $9,000 and I know I could blow it out. Okay. Sure, I could do that because I could probably take the car to the auction and get $9,000 for it. Because again, the way I buy cars, I buy them super low. Like I'm not in a rush to buy any car, so I'll sit there and watch an auction that's got 1,000 cars or 1,100 cars or X amount of cars, and I won't know what I'm going to buy until it hits that block. Once it hits the block and I'm looking like, all right, I could sell it for this price, I know I'm good here as a buyer, then I'll buy that vehicle. That's how I do it. I don't set out to auction day and say, I'm going to buy a Ford, what is that thing, an Explorer? I'm not going to go buy a fucking Ford Explorer today or Focus or I don't know what the hell that is over there, or Corolla. I say I'm going to buy the car that makes me X amount of profit. And that's just how I do it. Well, Dave, how do you know what car is going to make you what? Because all I do all day is study. I'm on Facebook all friggin' day long. And it doesn't take me long just to jump on my phone and say, 2012 Lexus LS 430, 460. Boom, there it is. It shows up. Okay, great. With that being said, back to the original question. Why won't I sell that car for $9,000 or wholesale price to the general public? Here's why. I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm going to sell that car to the general public. Anything go wrong. Window regulator stops working. AC doesn't blow out as cold. These things are machines. They are gone through when they come in. Leroy the mechanic goes through it and says, okay, yes, this car is good. Eventually you're going to need tie rod ends, but you don't need to replace them now. They're worn. They are a part that wears out. The brakes probably got about another 6 months left on them. These are things that I'm not going to change, but I have no problem bringing it up in the sales. Like, hey, look, I had the mechanic look at it. Down the road, you're going to need this, that, and a third. But down the road, you're also going to need a starter, an alternator. Down the road, long enough, you're going to need an engine and a transmission. That's just what it happens, okay? So you could down the road everything. With that being said, as soon as the window regulator stops working, that same buyer that you just hooked up with that car at a wholesale price is going to leave you a negative feedback. Because very rarely do people give positive feedbacks. It does happen. I've gotten them, but it's rare. A lot of dealers, just so you know, when you go online and you see that they have all these positive feedbacks, a lot of dealers have incentives so that this way consumers will leave. Like, oh, if you want a $50 gift card, right now at the point of sale, jump on this iPad and leave me a positive Google review. Or leave me, contractors, Angie's List, they've asked me to do it, etc., etc. And you'll get your little $50 gift card or $100 gift card, and then you leave this positive review, and it's done. So what ends up happening is you sell that car for $9,000. Yeah, you made $1,000. Yes, they saved $3,000. Now the window regulator went bad, $100 part, and they want to bash you. They want to say, oh, worst car dealer in the world, typical scumbag, blah, 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 blah. That, people, is one of the major reasons why the average car dealer does not want to take that risk. Myself included. I do not want to take the risk of ruining my feedback or my rating, if you will, because I tried to hook somebody up. I'll be honest with you. All right, I'm talking about people I know and people I work with. I work at a hospital that's got over 10,000 employees. Word is out. I buy and sell cars. People come up to me on a daily basis asking me, oh, can you get me this car? Can you get me this car? A lot of times it's just conversation. I don't know that I've ever actually, maybe like 2 or 3 people have actually purchased cars from me. I've actually purchased more cars from people than I have sold. With that being said, what I end up doing in those situations, and I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree, I end up letting them, I know a lot of you guys will disagree, I let them just use my dealer's license. I'm like, look, I'll take you to the auction, I'll show you whatever the car is, I'll charge you, $500. And the reason why I do that is, number one, $500 is not going to make or break me. Number two, we both know my profit margin at that point, right? We both know that I'm going to pay whatever you want to pay and then just add $500 to it, and that's what I'm going to get. And what it does is it makes me not the bad guy, because they went to the auction. They looked, there's a Jeep right in front of me. They looked over that Jeep. They thought it was a good buy. They purchased it. God forbid they got it home and the engine's blown. They can't turn around and say that I sold them a car with a bad engine. So that's usually how I'll handle those situations. But again, I rant and I get off topic. So another thing a lot of people are saying is, oh, how come there's so many no sales at the auction? Well, the reason why there's so many no sales at the auction is because why would you expect someone to bring something somewhere to sell at a loss? Now, two ways to think about this. One, my way. I want to cut ties, okay? I want to take my losses quick, fast, up front. If I'm into this car over here, this is a Honda CR-V, okay? If I'm into this thing for $10,000 and I'm not selling it, it's 10 grand that I've wrapped up in this car, it's not moving. I would prefer to take that car to the auction and sell it for $7,000. I'm going to take a $3,000 loss on my taxes, right? It's documented. I have the receipts. I have everything going good. So it's a $3,000 loss on the taxes. With that $7,000, maybe go buy a couple Ford Focuses. And I'm only using cars I could see, guys, or Honda Accords. Okay, I go buy a Honda Accord. At today's rate, put it on my lot and try to recoup. I probably don't think that I'd recoup with $7,000 a $3,000 loss, but if I could recoup a $1,500 of that three, boom. Now that car just lost me only 15 because I took that same money that I had wrapped up in that car, put it in this car, took the money out. Okay, then I did it again. Boom. Now I'm whole. I still have the write-off, but now I'm whole. I'm back to square zero, and then I keep moving forward. You don't want to do that too many times, but what you don't want to do is a dealer who ends up with 10, 20, 15, 50 cars on their lot that, realistically speaking, they're not going to sell. I actually just sent a bunch more cars to Crush. So what I'll end up doing is I'll cut the cats off. I'll sell the cats. Sometimes if if one of the firehouses by my house or by the dealership is doing training, or they have training coming up, I will use those vehicles and take them to them, and they'll give you book on those cars, okay? So I'll take the cat and I'll get some cash back in my pocket, and they'll give me book value for the vehicle, because what they're going to do is set it on fire and let the trainees come put it out and use the jaws of life, I think they're called. Cut the car. They're going to do whatever they're going to do with the car. It doesn't matter. And again, they don't give you any cash. They give you what's called like a tax credit. So at the end of the year, when you have to pay taxes, you can use these things to lower your tax bill. Yes, you have to wait to the end of the year. Yes, you're not getting money up front, other than for the cats, because they don't care about the cats. So they're just going to crush the car anyway. It doesn't matter to them. You cut the cats off and you could sell them and make a couple bucks yourself. At least you get a little something, you know. But that's another way of what I do. I get rid of cars fast. Like, I'm not going to keep spending money on cars that I don't want to sell a car to break even. You know, and again, if you're selling a car to break even, you're risking the rating. So there's that. Some dealers, they're just like, nah, I'm not going to sell that car for anything less than this. I think, in my opinion, if you're trying to sell a car for over MMR, don't even waste your time bringing it to the auction. I really wish the auctions would say, yo, look, man, you know, when you come in there, they're going to like, what do you want for your car? You know, MMR is 10,000. I want 15,000 for my car. I wish auctions would be like, you're just wasting your time. You're spinning your heels, like you're spinning your wheels. Like, don't, it's just not even worth it. Like, you don't know how many times I've gone to the auction or watched the auction. I'm watching these guys trying to sell cars for retail prices. What's the point? What's the point? What do you, like, I don't understand it. In that situation, you got to just be a realist and just say it is what it is. As a matter of fact, funny story about last week. I needed a Chevy Malibu because I had one that was wrecked and I had the motor and transmission. So I needed one that needed a motor and or transmission. I was watching this one, he was offered $1,000 for it. It was more than I wanted to spend. And then the next week it was offered like $800. The third week, I don't know what happened, but the third week he had to buy it now of 800, right? And I'm just like, damn, I'm like, had you just stopped, not been so greedy and taken the first $1,000, you'd be over your asking price today. But there's a lot of things that may have happened. Maybe he was on vacation and couldn't respond, or, I don't know. There's a lot of things, right? So anyway, now the car comes up and no one's bidding on it. And for some reason, I dropped the ball and the highest bid was $500. So I was like, all right, whatever. I would have loved that car for $500. No sale. Okay. Car runs back last week. Said to Leroy, hey man, do me a favor. Get this car. I'm willing to go to $550. I knew it was already $500 last week. I know it's steadily going down. It's a 2010 Malibu with a bad engine. No one wants this shit, right? So he ends up getting it for $550. The guy comes back at $775. So Leroy, being new to the game, he's like, hey man, I want to get in, I want to buy it. I'm like, nah, just chill. Because we're still the high bidder at $550. Last week it was $500. The likelihood that next week it's going to go above $550 is slim to none. We're declining. Then he came back at $600. Right? So he came back at $775, then he came back at $600, and I said to Leroy, I was like, yo, don't even worry about it. We're going to buy this car. He has until 7 o'clock tonight, and I can tell you by 10 to 7, $650 for those of you who aren't good at math, we're going to get an email that says that we purchased the vehicle. And he was just like, how do you know? I'm like, because only an idiot's going to not sell a car for $50. I'll probably work out a deal with the auction house, okay? Sure as shit, we get an email 10 minutes to, because the train of thought for the dealer, I believe, was let me wait as long as I can and hopefully they'll say yes, because they're thinking that we don't want it. I don't buy cars emotionally. I just buy cars thinking of money. And if you're emotional about your money, you're going to find it very difficult to make money because you're never going to want to get rid of it, right? So we ended up with the car. Great. Got a great deal on it. Even better, it ran and drove. So I'm like, fuck, I can't even buy a car with a bad engine. But now you have the other deal. I'm sorry. I know I'm all over the place. I wish I could focus, but I'm not on Adderall or nothing like that anymore. So with that being said, you have other dealers who just are not willing to take a loss, and they'll just keep putting these cars into the auction. And these are the YouTubers that are like, oh, cars won't sell. Cars won't sell. It's not because dealers don't want to spend on them. It's just because the market is only saying they're worth this much. The dealer that bought it owns it for this much, and that dealer doesn't want to come down. It's not that no one's trying to buy them. There's people trying to buy every single car that runs through the auction. I've yet to see a car go through the auction that has never had a bid. Unless you're at an auction that says, nope, we won't accept any bids unless it's $1,000, within $1,000 of the floor. I don't agree with that. I think every single auction should take every single offer. And that's the only way that the dealers are going to know what their car is being priced at in that market. And that's just what it is, guys, in a nutshell. I can make videos going on and on and on about how trucks aren't being sold and all this other bullshit, but that's not the case. In actuality, at least here in Tampa, Florida, we're seeing cars sell. I mean, at our dollar menu lot, we're probably bumping out between 5 and 10 a week right now. Not me personally, it's a bunch of guys there. There's like, I think now there's only like 5 guys actually, but 5 guys. Bumping out 5 to 10 cars, and I can tell you right now, on those dollar menu cars, they're not making anything less than $1,000, and some of these guys are making up to $3-4 grand a car. But cars are selling. Like, I don't know. Cars. People need to stop looking at cars as though they're assets. Cars are not considered assets. I mean, there's a certain few that may be considered assets, but for the most part, they're considered liabilities. Okay, guys. So if you have a customer, or if you are a person who bought a car during the pandemic, and you got a great interest rate, but you overpaid for it, and now you find that you're upside down, you have two choices here. One, take the L. Take the L, give it back, take the repo, fuck up your credit. That's on you. If you have $10,000, $20,000 sitting around and you want to say, hey, you know what? I don't want this Escalade payment anymore. I'm going to let them repo it, and I'm going to go pay cash for that Ford Exploder. Okay, that's on you. You can 100% do that. If you're another person who's just like, look, I don't care. I have money. I still have the same job. I still make the same income. I'm still going to pay for the vehicle. That's fine too. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. And it's just whatever you feel comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are like, oh, people are so upside down with cars. They can't get out of them. Well, you can get out of them. It's if you want to take the loss of not getting out of them. That's what it comes down to. It's not, I can't get out of the car. You definitely can. I think, for myself personally, I'm going to tell you this. For the dealership that I own outright, or solely, I should say, the cars I'm going to focus on are financeable cars for less than $15,000 for the general working class. What do I mean by that? People like myself. I'm a working man. I go to work every day. I need a reliable form of transportation. I need it to look somewhat decent when I'm pulling into a parking lot like this that all my coworkers may see. It doesn't really apply to me because I'm driving around in my bucket right now. This is the 06 Corolla with hail damage and a rusty roof. But I'm not a guy who lives for others. I could give a fuck less what people think about me. That's real talk. If I did, I'd be driving my Audi or my Lexus here every day. I honestly, I don't even care. Like, I've been doing cars for so long. Cars are just cars. It's just a way to get from point A to point B. It doesn't matter to me. Now, my stepdaughter had a graduation in the beginning of this month. I did give my girl and her the Audi to drive because I think it's important that, my stepdaughter felt comfortable getting out of her vehicle with all her friends being there and outside and stuff like that. At that age, you don't want to be looked at like the broke kid or whatever. And we're far from broke. But unfortunately, in this world that we live in, people measure wealth by what you can show them you have. And I don't care. But I don't want her to have to live the way I do. And the way I live is not a bad thing, but it's just, it's different at her age, And she does understand, though. She does understand, we have money to a certain degree, and we choose to drive the cars that we drive. But she's also comes to the lot and sees a shit ton of beautiful cars. But regardless, what I believe is going to happen now is the big change is going to be all these big $100,000 vehicles and $50,000 vehicles, and with the interest rates the way they are, I just don't see those cars moving as frequently as you will a $15,000 or less financeable vehicle. They still look good. They still run good. The mileage is kind of low on them. With a good detail, they could look extremely good. Another thing is, with those cars, it's only like $2,000 down. 90% of banks are willing to finance that kind of vehicle, especially if you're not trying to, bang the client over the head. If you're trying to do honest business the way I am, I don't want 150% markup. I don't want an extra check. If I want $15,000 for that car and the bank goes, oh, hey, we'll give you 20, I want to keep it at 15. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason. Yes, I can make more money. Yes, I can sell the client. But I'm not about that. I know that sounds crazy because I'm a car dealer, right? But I'm not about that. At $15,000, I'm already making the money anyway. And I'm happy with that money. The person buying the vehicle from me can afford the payment. They can afford the insurance. And there's no reason to be a scumbag about it. So guys, this video started out one way and ended up all over the place. I don't even know how I'm gonna title it. I think I'm gonna do titles first to try to keep me focused. But with that being said, guys, that's it, man. You know, this bubble they keep talking about for this last year, about how it's gonna be this, that, and a third. You know, we're here. You know, we're in a bad time economically speaking. I don't know that it's gonna get better. Side note. For those of you who have cash, okay, you guys know how hard it is to get cash into the bank. This is really for the guys that are flipping cars, and you should not be flipping cars. It's against the law. But if you find yourself flipping cars, look into precious metals, all right? Look into precious metals. I've been doing a lot of homework on it. We are pretty high right now. We're not the highest we've been, but we are pretty high. But if you go back over 10 years and see where we were as to where we are today, there's been dips, there's been high peaks, but we're still going up, steadily going up. You got it. One thing you want to understand about precious metals, gold, silver, etc., is you don't buy those things to make money tomorrow. You buy those things so this way in 30 years from now you'll have money, or 20 years from now, or 10 years. If you go back 10 years, I want to say you were buying gold for less than $1,000 an ounce. Today it was, I think this morning it was trading at just under $2,000 an ounce, which means in 10 years I've doubled my money. But again, it's not an investment. It just means that if you look at gold, the price of gold 10 years ago versus the price of $1 10 years ago, and again, we're saying that you have a 1 ounce gold coin in a safety deposit box, and you have, for argument's sake, $1,000 in a bank account 10 years ago, and you still have that 1 ounce coin in your safety deposit box, and you still have that same $1,000 in your savings account. If you look at what that gold coin is worth versus what that $1,000 is worth, you see that everything that surrounds that $1,000 has gone up like crazy. Just look at gas, look at housing, look at eggs, look at anything you do. Everything has gone up so much, and because of inflation, the dollar hasn't been able to keep up. Okay, now with gold, on the other hand, gold has doubled in price. So, and it's 10 years, right? So it's doubled in price. And again, keep in mind, you want to do your own homework. And the reason why I mean, you don't have to be a flipper to do this. I just know that from knowing flippers have a hard time getting money into the bank. So if you don't necessarily need that money anytime soon, you could buy gold, because you could go to your local coin broker, and you can buy gold and just put it in a safety deposit box and just forget about it. It's like it's money in the savings account. You just forget about it. And then when you go to sell it years from now, you can then take that money to the bank and say, oh, well, how did you come up with this much money? Well, I sold a couple gold coins that were given to me as gifts throughout the years, etc., etc. I think I just said too much. Guys, I got to go. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I promise you now that things are starting to settle down, you will get a lot more videos from me. I want to be that guy that you can come to and learn from. I want to be the realest. I feel like I already am the realest car YouTuber out here. I'm not going to front. I don't care about the fluff. I don't jump on the bandwagon. I give it to you real. But just like every other YouTuber, regardless of them saying, oh, well, I spoke to this guy at the bank because I'm some big shot dickhead. Bullshit. They're talking to the guy on the floor. They're talking to the branch manager, if that. I can do the same thing. I go to fucking Chase right now, and the Chase that I bank at, that motherfucker will buy me lunch today. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. And we could talk about cars and everything else, and I get some information for you guys, but who gives a shit? You need your boots on the ground. You need to know what's going on, all right? So don't believe the hype. Understand that I'm just giving you my opinion like everybody else is. And that's it, man. I hope you guys are making money. I hope you guys are staying healthy, and I really hope you guys are taking care of each other. Much love and respect, guys. I'm out.